Hey ChatGPT, give me the approvability rating of Trump's new big beautiful bill. But do it in a Sopranos-esque Italian cartoonish voice.
They don't think of it as one big beautiful bill. They think of it as one big bad bill. What are we talking about here? Well, let's take a look at the big beautiful bill. Net favorable ratings. I got 5 different polls for you on the screen. And you don't have to be a mathematical genius to know that these are horrible numbers. Washington Post, minus 19 points. Pew Research Center, minus 20 points. Fox News, minus 21 points. Quinnipiac University, minus 26 points. And then KFF takes the cake at minus 29 points on the net favorable rating. Holy Toledo, you just never see numbers this poor. I have been trying to look through the history books to find if there was another piece of legislation that was on the verge of passing that was as unpopular as this one. And Boris Sanchez, I cannot find one.
Yikes, that says a lot. Harry, often as folks learn more about what these bills contain, and let's be frank, lawmakers actually sell what they contain, we see them become more popular. Has that been the case here?
I'll give you a one-word answer. No. No, it hasn't become more popular. What are we talking about?
No, it hasn't become more popular, Boris Sanchez. Boris Sanchez. Is he Mexican? Is he Russian? It's like getting 2 newsmen for one, right? He can either cover the border or he can go cover Moscow. CNN's getting a steal with this guy. The polls for this bill are looking horrible. But I could say historically, Nazis have never really cared about the polls. Yes, that's a World War II joke. J.D. Vance swooped in to save the day. J.D. Vance swooped in to cast the tie-breaking vote to push this turd past the lips and out into the world for Congress to try it. I don't know, what's Congress going to do? Congress sent the Senate a bill, the Senate made it worse, and then sent it back to Congress. So what do we get next? This bill's like that movie that came out, I don't know, what was it, like 10 years ago? Where the people's lips are sewn to the buttholes, and it just keeps going through. It all keeps going through. You feed the guy. That's the first iteration of the bill. Goes, the Human Centipede. This is not the big, beautiful bill. This is the Human Centipede bill. So the esteemed J.D. Vance, he probably had a good reason. I mean, he doesn't put his eyeliner on for nothing. He doesn't put his eyeliner on unless he's planning to f*** us. So what exactly happened? The thing that will bankrupt this country more than any other policy is flooding the country with illegal immigration. Okay, but this is a budget bill. And then giving those migrants generous benefits. The OBBB, I guess, what's the O stand for? I know the big beautiful bill is the O like orgasm, big beautiful bill, just trying to put everything in there to fool the morons. Everything else, the CBO score, the proper baseline, the minute of Medicaid policy is immaterial. I want you to think about what he's saying right here, J.D. Vance. He put on his eyeliner, so let's think about what he's saying. He's saying that $4 billion to $4.5 billion is immaterial, right? Do you know, I know what the word immaterial means. Does J.D. Vance know what the word immaterial means? It is immaterial compared to the ICE money and immigration enforcement provisions. Immaterial. Detached, the ICE budget is like $8.5 billion to $9 billion. This bill is literally going to put $4 trillion on the deficit, you know? Do you see the difference between the two? If the ICE bill is so important, JD, here's what you do. Here's how a bill works. I don't know if you've seen Schoolhouse Rock. You go through and you put an immigration bill through. And that's how you fund it, my man. And this is what I've been finding lately, right? The chuds read it. They're like, yeah, immigration. Everything else is immaterial. But maybe if they took 30 seconds, maybe if they took 1 minute to really think about what they're reading, to really think about what these politicians are saying to them, selling away the future of this country. Whatever it is, 3.5, 4 trillion, 4.5 trillion, selling that away, and J.D. Vance calls that number immaterial. J.D. Vance is calling the future, your kids' future, your grandkids' future. He's calling that immaterial compared to a yearly $8.5 billion Heist budget. And if you're a chud, this is a good point for you to just jump off the video because I don't think you're gonna understand much. That may be one of the stupidest things I've ever heard anyone say in the history of hearing stupid people say stupid things. And I'm from Utah with a lot of Mormons, so I've heard a lot of stupid things said. But that's right up there. If it's not number one, it's in the top 5. Take 1 minute, take 30 seconds to ponder that 10 of the last 11 recessions happened under a Republican president. Probably a coincidence. It's probably a coincidence, right? But that doesn't matter because I'm pretty sure no chud has ever read anything longer than a meme. And I know that because the whole point of J.D. Vance's book kind of gives the game away. The whole point of Hillbilly Elegy is that hillbillies are dumb and deserve it.
If those kids could read, they'd be very upset.
If MAGA could read right now, they would probably be as upset as the rest of us.
Stephen, I'm going to ask you what I just asked Secretary Bessent about Elon Musk's threat today and yesterday to primary Republicans who campaigned for fiscal restraint yet voted for the big, beautiful bill. He is furious for a lot of reasons, but is mostly citing the failure to rein in costs and spending. Your reaction to this tonight?
I'm sure Stephen will have a thoughtful answer.
Well, this is the largest spending cut, Laura, in American history.
No,
Think about what's in this bill. The largest tax cut and reform in American history.
No, it's not.
The largest spending cut in American history.
No, it's not.
The largest welfare reform in American history.
No, it's not.
The largest reduction in federal spending ever achieved in a single bill. And then it also includes the most robust, comprehensive border security and immigration enforcement package we've ever seen. One that will allow us to deport millions upon millions of invaders. To oppose this bill is to support the invasion.
Then pass a damn border bill. Learn how American government works. Learn how the Republic works. Republicans used to claim they hated pork in a bill, especially this guy, John McCain, right there, pictured with his daughter, Meghan McCain, right next to him. My father! This bill will lower every... I don't have a good Stephen Miller impression because I'm not dead inside, so bear with me. This bill will lower everyone's taxes, Laura. This bill will magically bring in trillions of dollars, Laura. I have hair, Laura. I'm a handsome man with a huge penis, Laura. I guess Stephen Miller just knows something that none of us know. And what he knows is probably the proper way to strangle a prostitute. The House GOP fumes over a Senate mega bill. A quote, how did it get so much effing worse? How did it get so much effing worse? Interestingly, that is the exact quote I've been saying about the Republican Party for the last 25 years. How did it get so much effing worse? After Bush, we thought this was the bottom. Did you guys watch that show on Netflix about the cruise ship where the toilet stopped working? And they talked about the one guy said, oh, well, people were pooping in the toilet, that they were putting toilet paper on top of the poop, then poop on top of toilet paper, and they'd keep pooping on top of the toilet paper, and that would make a poop lasagna, as he called it. And you know, right now, after watching that show the other night, that's the perfect metaphor for the Republican Party my entire life, right? You're like, oh, it can't get much worse than this. This is shitty. Put some toilet paper on it. Add more shit on top. Right? Oh, we got George Bush. Reagan was terrible. Now we got W. Put some toilet paper on it. Add more shit. Damn, that's a good metaphor. Every member of Congress who campaigned on reducing government spending and then immediately voted for the biggest debt increase in history should hang their head in shame, and they will lose their primary next year if it's the last thing I do on earth. And could I say, yes, I agree with this. The absolute best outcome for this is for him to make each Republican lose their seat in Congress, each senator to lose their seat in Congress, and then also be literally the last thing he ever does on earth. My name's MJ, and I support this Elon Musk message. And Grandpa was in the middle of complaining about being on hold with AT&T. You remember when they used to talk about Biden? I remember. He was in the middle when he got word that Elon Musk is coming for him again. Oh no, is it the Epstein files? No, it's not the Epstein files this time.
He's upset that he's losing his EV mandate, and he's very upset about things, but he could lose a lot more than that. I can tell you right now. Hey, Elon can lose a lot more than that. I don't know. I mean, we'll have to take a look. We might have to put Doge on Elon. You know what Doge is? Doge is the monster that might have to go back and eat Elon. Wouldn't that be terrible?
Choice words. We are so desensitized. I don't think we'll ever be sensitized again. I don't think all the hand sanitizer in the world will get us back. But Trump calling his own Doge program a monster, and then he's going to have it eat Elon, gives us just a shadow into this sundowning man's brain, into, what that program was to him and how he feels about every last one of us. Because a couple months ago, the monster wasn't going to be sicked on Elon to eat him. That monster was eating all of us. It was eating every single piece of data we have, probably for future elections. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I can say that on YouTube now that Newsweek is picking up the lawsuit. But we'll come back to that in another episode. And then also casually mentioning, maybe I'll deport him, because that's what the future is, right? That's what the future is with this party.
Well, he's never been known, the president, to shy away from debating someone who's publicly taking him on. So I'm not surprised to see him jousting with Elon. I still consider them both to be important. I think the dividing line in politics right now for me is who's trying to preserve Western civilization and who's not. And I still think Trump and Elon are on the same side of that line. I hope someday they get it back together.
Scott, you look very uncomfortable.
I love them both, as you know. I love them both, and I don't like it when they fight. I've never liked it when they fight. I don't like it when my friends are fighting.
Mom and dad are fighting.
They're fighting. I don't like it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hide in the garage.
Trump says Elon.
This mom and dad, right? If you would have told me 20 years ago, the Republican Party would have devolved so much. They call politicians and billionaires their mommies and daddies. Mommy and daddy are fighting. If you would have told me 25 years ago that that's what they would have devolved into, I would have believed you, because of course I would have believed you. They were always going to end up here. The base of the Republican Party are scared, weak little people. And it was only a matter of time when they folded this mommy-daddy metaphor into their personality, because they need to be protected by mommy and daddy. The base of this party needs to be tucked in at night by the billionaires and by the politicians. Mommy and daddy are fighting. If you're from another country watching this right now, send help.
Ensuring delivery of his campaign promises to the American people not only secures the House for the midterms, which, mind you, President Trump is indeed ahead of this party, meaning that if he instructs Speaker Johnson to continuing bringing forward those rescissions, also to instruct him to do single subject spending bills, Speaker Johnson will listen, but we do have a very slim majority. So I will say that this bill is as good as it's going to get. In the event that it's not passed, we are facing a really big problem here, a potential 22%, I believe, increase for the average American taxpayer. And so right now, this is going to be baby steps to crawl our way out of this big hole that has been a result of more than one president and more than one Congress really putting us into a debt crisis. And I know that President Trump, and I have all the faith that he will be handling this situation and bringing us out of it.
More than one president, Luna says. That's right. Whose bill is this that had a self-destructive device in it? Who was it? She says more than one president. But this is that president we elected in 2016 who passed his first bill in 2017. More than one president. My ass, Luna. And Luna's being honest here. She tells the Republicans, this is good as you're ever going to get from us. And you know why? You know why, Republicans? Because you're too dumb, you're too stupid to demand better. History shows it. Current times show it, and the future will show it. You'll always be too dumb. So this is the best you're going to get. Now keep voting for him. But with adding $4.5 trillion to the debt, could we at least get something good?
He's just like, hey, let's put root beer in all the drinking fountains. Everything will be free. Look at how I eat my burrito with my fingers. And trust me, I mean, he's in his fancy package with a bright smile.
Yeah, okay. Root beer fountains and finger tacos. At least we're getting something for $4 trillion from a good-looking guy with a good-looking smile, as Chavez said. That sounds pretty good to me. Oh, they're saying it is a bad thing? It's a commie takeover of the Big Apple? And honestly, you can see why this guy, Jason Chavez from Utah, you can see why his career in Congress lasted less time than Kat Kammick's entire abortion. This lady right here, this Republican, an abortion almost killed her. Jason Chavez's career was less time than that. Maybe it was just gas. $3.5 trillion, $4 trillion Big Mac the Republican Party has been selling you since forever. This is not a Trump bill. I'd like to lay this at the feet of Trump, but he's only the catalyst that got here. That let him do all his other stuff with his executive orders. This is a neocon bill. If George Bush could have passed this 25 years ago, George Bush would have passed this 25 years ago. This is the same $4 trillion Big Mac. Right? And if MAGA could read the ingredients, if they could read the bill on this shit burger, But hey, it hasn't changed. The Republican Party will never change because they will never change. The Chud Report.
Trump is the new Adolf.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. My name's MJ. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like it. You've been here a while. Yeah, go ahead. Support the channel. Become a member. $2.99, $3.99. I can never remember how it is. I should know because I'm telling you to do it, right? But thank you for watching. And that's all I got for you tonight. This will continue into the future. What was that movie called? The Human Centipede Bill. That's a much better name for this bill. HCB. The HCB instead of the orgasm beautiful bill. The Chud Report.
We're basing a lot on the assumptions and modeling of the CBO, and they are about as reliable as meteorologists.
They're pretty accurate.
Well,
but you
they're
talked
not.
about
They're
this.
not. I know Scott has said this. They're not infallible.
Okay, I know,
mistakes.
but you mentioned this yesterday. So we pulled up from the archives because we talked about this a lot on this show. CBO's estimates for the Trump 2017 tax cuts. Look at the estimates and look at the actual numbers. They're pretty much in line. In fact, the CBO was pretty much on target, except for perhaps the effect of a once-in-a-generation pandemic. So the idea that the CBO is suddenly unreliable is not true. But even if they were, what are the president's numbers? What does he think it's going to be?
Well, and let's talk about the